Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Pro Division with the tournament win for the Spring Major Tournament and the Jamil Dunes. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. And before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also visit golfclashtommy.com for more Golf Clash related content. You can also get the best text guides and video guides on the market by becoming a Patreon. Link to patreon.com/golfclashtommy is in the description down below. This is going to be a playthrough with 4 extra drops, but the rest of them is going to be fairly close anyway, that we can obviously tweak and get some extra drops going forward. Use the info box on the right hand side for the elevation adjustment for the drive, second shot, also what ball and club I feel is going to be the best one to use in the situations when we are playing. In the end though, make sure that you comment if you have any questions. Also hit thumbs up if you like the video. Let's go to hole number 1. For hole number 1, we are going to play on the right side of the fairway. Yes, we are. We do want to get up into short iron range. 4.5 bar topspin and as much side spin to the right possible. The thing that you can do is that you can push your drive a little bit harder, meaning that you can use maybe 5 to 5.5 bar topspin instead. Push up the club to max after you have made your adjustment, and we play with a power 3 ball to be able to stay away from overpower altogether. You may be wondering, why do I use 4.5 bar topspin when I do have 6 bars and could technically use that? It's because I do want to display that you will definitely get into a nice distance even with a lower level extra mile. You can also see that we are fairly close to the top right of the rough. If we do roll in there, the eagle opportunity is not going to be gone, but it's going to be way harder. So make sure you don't go too far. Second shot, now it's time to try to find a consistent landing position. And the thing that I'm doing is that I'm, wiggling around, going back and forth, trying to find the spot that we do want to use. So in the end, I decide to go a little bit higher up than we are now because I'm not really satisfied with the way that the ball guideline moves when I move back and forward. So I move a little bit higher up, and in the end, we're ending up playing with 1 bar of backspin and 2 bars of side spin to the right. Now I do adjust 20% over adjustment, and I play this one approximately 75% of my club. The thing that we are going to try to do here is to play this one around 60% of our club instead, to reduce a decimal or 2, because this one is gonna come in close, but it's not gonna be in the hole. It's always nice, obviously, to start with an eagle, which is what we're going for on hole number 1. So, as another alternative for hole number 1, for those of you playing with more superior clubs and also able to use a berserker, meaning power 5 ball, you can also play this one with a snow glove ball, 6 topspin, or let's say like this, max topspin together with 4.5 bar side spin left. And then we're going to adjust, like we're going to stretch out to have the ball guideline point into the gap between the rough on the left and also where the trees are in the center. We adjust max plus 10, push up to max, and then it's time to go with max overpower. And obviously, depending on what type of club you're having, you are going to reach either shorter or longer. But the thing that we're looking for is to bounce over rough and the rocks here in the center and gain as much distance possible. And I do believe with, Apocalypse level 7, level 8, you will be very close to green. The thing that happens here, obviously, when using max overpower is that you do risk going into the rough on the left or on the right, depending on how good or bad you are doing with your drive. Second shot is then going to be with a wedge. And the wedge here is always, we are looking for the wedge with the best ball guideline. We do make sure that we use the side spin that we do have to align it with the wind. So we are going to go with us getting as close to a straight tailwind possible. Then we're going to adjust, and you see the ball guideline, it just barely leaves the left side of the cup, because this shot here is played without any elevation, instead of playing, with a 20% elevation we do in example number 1. So for those of you with superior clubs, then this is most definitely going to be a viable option here for hole 1. For hole number 2, we are using our sniper, and now we're going to use the blue ring by the rough line. You see that we have the white ring as well, just falling down into the sand. 4.5 bar side spin to the right with 3 bars of backspin. Now look at the ball guideline. It's just, the tip of it is just by the fringe to the right. Now I'm adjusting medium distance with a 15% over adjustment, but I would like us to play 10% over adjustment instead of 15. This because we are adjusting a little bit too much, and you see that the ball bounced nicely on the fairway though, but rolls just to the right of the pin. So 10% over adjustment instead of 15, that would compensate enough for us to get the hole-in-one. For hole number 3, this is going to be a must albatross. It's not often I say that, but this is needed to get in, and you're gonna see that in the end. First, 4.5 bar topspin and as much side spin to the right possible. Do we want to use more than a 4.5 bar topspin? No, we don't. We need the 4.5 bar topspin to just consistently get to a good distance and don't go too far. Because with the tailwind for the second shot, if we go too far, we might risk going in between clubs. We do adjust maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, and we are not going to push up our target anything. Great left, which scared me a little bit because we're going to be close to the rough on the side, but you can see that we are not really that close to clip the rough. And we get into a nice little distance here on hole number 3, 358 yards. From 358 yards, we are going to play minimum distance of our club with no elevation. First, we do need, in this case, use a decent amount of side spin. I would like you to use all of it. So all of the side spin, using around 2 bars of top spin, which is going to be the top spin value to get ourselves to catch the funnel. Now we can obviously do in many different ways, but I'm using the yellow ring to be just barely before the rough and with the ball guideline hole. From here, adjust minimum distance, no elevation, and it's time to take our shot. Obviously very important to hit perfect here, and very important as well that not deliberately add or like undeliberately add some overpower. And this funnel is so massive that we can, with a great ball, even get that ball in the hole for an albatross. So that's why I'm saying this one is going to be a must. So 358 yards equals 0% elevation, minimum distance. Those of you counting the rings, you're gonna notice that I play +5, but the +5 pulls me more left, and that's why I'm not getting straight at pin, and therefore I'm going to roll into the hole on the left side of the cup instead. That's why it's 0% and minimum distance number from 358. For hole number 4, it's rough bump time, and we're going to use 5.5 bar topspin and as much side spin to the left possible together with that. And then we're going to have the top of the yellow ring by the rough line, and we're going to have the tip of the ball guideline pointing approximately 1 green square to the left of the pin. The reason that we offset our ball guideline like that, it's because we do otherwise miss right. Those of you playing with a lower level Goliath will still have the top spin, so you will still be able to do the same type of shot. The only difference is that you're going to have to let the yellow ring be slightly outside the rough instead of just by the rough, because a Goliath level 9 has better accuracy, therefore smaller rings. So use 5.5 top spin, have the yellow ring slightly outside, and then we move to the left. And also have in mind that the Goliath in a lower level does have a worse ball guideline, and therefore the ball guideline is going to look a bit different in terms of how long it is. But don't be afraid, or not afraid, but don't be concerned about that. Still use and rely 5.5 bar topspin, as much side spin to the left possible, max +20, hit perfect, and it's either going to be in or just by the cup. For hole number 5, we come to another hole that is going to be an absolute must eagle. Here, I would suggest you to play with the big topper if you do have that one unlocked. If you don't have the big topper, then you can play with whatever other driver you have, because the thing that we're looking for is to just shoot straight forward. And that we can do with every driver. The only thing that is the main focus is the top spin on our driver. That's why the big topper is the best possible solution here. Power 3 ball as well to compensate for the the less distance is one thing, but also that we do want to aim for as close to the top there of the fairway. Once you have adjusted with your big topper, you push up your club into max, and now in my opinion you do have a decision. Either you just take your shot, you don't care about using any overpower, or you're using any overpower. Clubs with big topper 4, 5, 6, 7, I would honestly stay away from overpower in general, but having lower level big topper, I would add just a smidge of overpower just to get myself up to the distance that we're looking for. 386 yards, it's a good yardage, and now we're going to find ourselves very close to minimum distance of our club. So ball guideline is going to be to the hole here. We're going to use approximately 1.5 bar backspin on, not approximate, we're going to use 1.5 bar backspin with the blue ring by the beginning of the fringe. Aiming for the hole, but you can also see that the green slopes slightly right to left, so we need to make sure that we do think about that when it comes to not having a fully developed ball guideline, because then we cannot see in the same way as we would be having like a Thorn level 8 or level 9 or Hornet level 8 or level 9. Minimum distance with a 10% over adjustment for 386 yards, and we get this one at the pin for a nice little eagle. For hole number 6, we're going to play the hardest hole in this tournament, and the reason for that is because we do need a lot of distance. I'm giving it a go here by using the big topper, using max topspin and 1 bar of side spin to the right. The problem with the big topper here is that it does not have that much distance, and it also does not have that much carry as the other clubs. So if you do have a club that is Apocalypse level 4+, Thor's Hammer level 4+, or even the Extra Mile level 8+, I would rather play with those 3 types of clubs than playing with the big topper, because you will generally get more distance even though you have a massive topspin with the big topper. Obviously you can go with a lot of overpower here, it's all up to you. I'm trying this shot to, you know, adjust, push back to max, and then go with without any overpower. But obviously, if you do want to go with overpower, you will have no issue getting the distance that you do want. And we do want and need to get to a distance that is around 400 plus in terms of yardage. Now, I do have a superior club here for the second shot, but it just to display the ID here. If you do want to go for a rough bump, you do need to play with 5 topspin and also a couple of bars of side spin. If you do have a shorter drive, you obviously need to use less topspin because you have a longer ball guideline. Big dog, cataclysm, doesn't matter. It's the distance that we are looking for. And that's, you know, we're gonna summarize this one just in a bit. We adjust medium distance with a 20% over adjustment. Once I'm done, I pull back 1 ring. It's very important that you do that pull back, because you are adjusting from a lower to a higher point, and it would be very easy otherwise for you to carry over the rough, hit the fairway directly, and bounce into the rough on the back, and that would be, you know, risking the eagle. Now coming in very nice speed, but obviously with a great right, that won't be good. So, what do we say here about the drive? You can play with a bag that is having the sniper, but that is all due to the drive. Then you need to push the drive pretty hard. You need to use a little overpower, like approximately 20-30% of overpower, and get yourself up to a distance that is approximately 410 yards. Because we need to think about that even with a, you know, with a sniper level 10, we do have 8 yards less than what we do have with the cataclysm. We do need to go up into a very nice distance to reach with the sniper, which would make the rough bump easier, obviously. In the end, tough par 5, take the eagle, be happy with that. We have plenty of other opportunities to drop shots. For hole number 7, I'm going to give you 2 examples here on how to play this hole. Both, not both, but one will be with sniper, one will be with the quarterback. Here you can play with a power 1 ball, and you want to have side spin 2, which is in this case going to be the quasar. Now, 4 bars of backspin and also 4 bars of side spin to left. You can see that we do have a funnel there, but as we do have wind coming right to left, I'm going to reduce the side spin to be only 3 bars of side spin to the left. So we are going to start with 4 backspin, 4 left spin, aim at the hole, and then we change. So we have 4 backspin, 3 left spin, then we adjust, and I adjust medium distance with a 10% over adjustment. But I would recommend here to play this one with maximum distance numbers instead of just medium. It's not that big of a difference between max and mid, and we do need that extra ring to adjust further out, so we do come in more to the right. If you do want to take another route, you can take the rough bump, and the rough bump is going to be with also a power 1 ball, because then we can find minimum distance very, very easy. So we adjust spin, which I'm doing 5.5 backspin, 2.2 bars of side spin to the left. I'm going to try to make sure that the ball guideline is through the hole, showing that we will miss the pin or go through the hole approximately 1 green square. Now, when we do adjust, we're going to adjust for minimum distance plus 5%. And we are not, in this example, adjusting for minimum distance plus 5. We adjust minimum distance without any elevation. But you will notice that this ball will hit the rough, but will miss short and also on the left hand side. Not much though, but we do need a little bit extra adjustment. So the thing that I would like you to do is to, change when it comes to the adjustment, add a little bit more. But most definitely, we need to give ourselves a pull angle that is 1201. If we don't do that, and if we hit great, most especially, we are going to find ourselves stuck in the sand, because we need that pull angle to make sure we adjust further up, so we then not risk the sand at all, even with a great ball. So please have that in mind when you are adjusting, so you're not going to struggling with the sand. When it comes to the rough bump with sniper, we obviously are not going to be afraid by the rough at all. For hole number 8, we are once again going to have a very good chance making an eagle. I'm going to start here by using max topspin. I'm also going to use a left spin here to make sure that we stay away from the bunker as much as possible, because the further down we are adjusting into the bunker, the bigger issue we are going to have with distance. So 4.5 bar topspin, 4.5 bar left spin, and then we're going to adjust with maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment. Once that is done, we push up our target into max. That is an absolute must need. And then we're going to take our shot. Those of you that do want to go with a little bit of overpower, then you can do so. But I'm going to be very focused hitting this shot perfect, so I'm not going to clip the rough with my second bounce, which I will do with a bad great right. And obviously a bad great left will eventually mean bunker. Second shot, we are just with the thorn. Look at the ball guideline. There is a spot there in the just directly at the pin where it's basically, it slopes massively right. So the ball guideline is going to be very iffy if you're playing there by that shot. So I'm using a little bit of right spin and also using a smidge of backspin here as well. We are in very close to maximum distance of our club, and I'm going to adjust maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment. So even though it's not that much downhill, but downhill combined with the left to right wind is going to affect this ball. So we are going to have to over adjust the second shot pretty with a pretty decent amount. So 20% we come in here, we just barely miss. We only need a decimal, then that's that ball in the hole. So we're going to have to remember though, the yardage, and we have to maybe the plus yardage of our second shot. And I would still play max distance plus 20, but if I am in complete maximum distance of my club, I would recommend to add a decimal or 2 extra, so we're not gonna burn the edge like we did there. For hole number 9, we're going to play a tough drive. We are going to play on the right-hand side to give us the best possible situation for the second shot. 3 topspin, max right side spin. And here I would like you to play with whatever Apocalypse you might have. Apocalypse level 1 plus. Doesn't have to be Apocalypse level 5, but level 1 plus. Otherwise, as an other alternative, the Rock in level 6 minimum. Okay? We adjust maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, and then we're going to apply overpower and curl. We are adjusting, we're doing 5 rings of overpower with Apocalypse here, and you can see that we are close to the rough line there, so I would suggest us to reduce a little bit of overpower, actually, to go 4 rings of overpower instead. 3 top spin, max right side spin. We're using a side spin 3 ball to prevent us from dropping down into the rough on the left. But tough drive, a lot of stuff to have to remember. Second shot, we play with the Goliath. And here, obviously, depending on what level of the Goliath, the ball guideline is going to be different. I'm using as much side spin that I possibly can to be able to be in between the bunkers with my target. 3 to 4 bars of top spin, but make sure that with a lower level Goliath, like lower than Goliath level 8, then you will have a ball guideline that should be ending up around 2 green squares before the pin instead of just before the pin as we have with the Goliath level 9. Maximum distance with a 25% over adjustment is what I'm playing here. And this is, whether you like the shot or not, the rough bump is a very good chance making an albatross here on hole number 9. So this is, as you can see, it rolls and it gets in there with a little lag as a twist, but we get that one in for a nice albatross on hole number 9. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching this playthrough for Pro Division in the Spring Major Tournament. Hope you enjoyed it. We have seen plenty of drops. We have seen plenty of close ones, and that's definitely something we can work with to become even closer and also get more drops going forward in the tournament. Make sure that if you do have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. Also, become a master by becoming a Patreon. Link to patreon.com/golfclashtommy is in the description down below. There you find the guide for the Spring Major. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Good luck in the tournament.